What's going on, YouTube? Hope everybody's having a blessed day. Let's talk about breeding the game dog. When breeding the game dog, it's just something that it's simple, but it's a very complex thing. And what I mean by that is you can't go off of color, you can't go off of looks, you have to go off the traits. Because you could, all right, prime example, you could have a spitting image of Tramp Red Boy himself, but he doesn't carry that legendary gameness trait that Red Boy had. All right, and then you can say I hear a lot of people say, "Oh, well, the best Eli dogs are black." Okay, you would have got rid of Grand Champion Art, for instance, man, because she was not she's an Eli dog, but she wasn't a solid black Eli dog. Or you could hear somebody say, "Oh, well, every red nosed dog I've had was a cur." Then you never saw Tombstone or Red Boy. Like, I'm not trying to insult anybody. Me myself, I fell victim to going to color as I guess you could say, a tool to pick my pups, because back when we were running the Bolio stuff, it was a stud we called Poppy. He would throw, black dogs. He would throw fawn dogs. But I had a tendency to choose black dogs because the black dogs that I seen coming off of him were excellent. Now, if I had stuck to that, I would have never gotten Rax. For instance, I would have never gotten Rax because Rax he came off of the Poppy dog, but he was a fawn color. As you see, he took after his mama with his coat. But when it came to his attitude, his mouth, his ability, it was just like Poppy. And when I bred him, he threw his traits and his offspring. He threw them, and he wasn't I'm not gonna say he was the best producer, but he threw good traits in his offspring. Like, take Rocky, for instance. Rocky looked like him. He like a spitting image of him. He just didn't have. He had the size of his mama, but the heart of his daddy. He had a mouth like his daddy and everything. So when I say that, like, genetics make up a big part in your dog. Genetics plays a major part. Like, you can't set, like, you see people doing repeat breedings. The way I feel about a repeat breeding is like this right here. Okay, well, we have 100 marbles. Let's just say we're going to give 10 marbles to red, 10 to black, 10 to green, 10 to yellow, and so forth. We're going to take all of those and put them in a bucket. All right, we're going to blindfold ourselves and we're going to reach in and pick out handfuls of 10. Each set of 10 is your puppies. Now, you're going to have different colors in each one of those piles, man. Each one of those piles are going to have different colors. That's kind of like simplifying the genetic pool. Now, I'm not a master of genetics by any means, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not a master. I just go for what I know, like, and what I've seen and what I've read and studied. Like, and that's what it all boils down to, man. Like, that's why you hear people say, "Oh, breeding these dogs like a crapshoot." It's not like breeding a collie, or it's not like breeding a Rottweiler, where all you have to do is make sure your dog looks a certain way. And because our hallmark trait with these dogs is called gameness. Now, the gameness trait, I'm pretty sure if you were to take Red Boy, say you take all the legendary dogs, and you could break down their DNA molecules, and you could see where the gameness trait comes from, or what gene pool the gameness trait comes from. I'm pretty sure each one of their gameness traits come from a different set. Like, it's different. It probably does. It's probably not made up of the same thing. So with that being said, it's hard to really say, "Oh, this breeding right here, yeah, it's just gonna click." Like, don't get me wrong, you have some bloods that just click, like Jeep and Red Boy. You'll hear people say, "Oh, yeah, that blood has stood the test of time," and you can look back and see the proof and the evidence that that blood has stood the test of time over the years. But you can't sit right here and say that, "Oh, well, yeah, when you breed a cheap Red Boy dog together, if you get a black dog out of that litter, it's not gonna be shit," or if a dog comes out brindle, it's not gonna be shit. Like, you can't do that. You have to take time and sit back and look at these dogs, and you have to have a culling process, By culling process, it doesn't necessarily mean kill. For a lot of people, oh, he culls his dogs. Yeah, I do cull my dogs. For the simple fact of that just means to cull just means get rid of. Now, you could cull your dog by giving it to your neighbor. Cull just means get rid of and do away with. Now, you give it to your neighbor, okay, you cull it off your yard. You're not going to use that in your breeding program. That's what culling means. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to kill your dog. Now let's go deeper. Now let's talk about inbreeding and line breeding. A lot of people get those two mixed up. The way I look at it to simplify, inbreeding would be in-house. Father to daughter, mother to son, something like that, or brother to sister. A line breeding to me would be granddaughter to grandfather, or a uncle to, like his a niece or something like that. Like that would be a line breed. That would be line breeding for me. Like they don't necessarily have to be. It could be a half and half, a half brother, half sister breeding. That would be line breeding to me because it's not. You're still leaving a little leeway for your gene pool to open up some. You get what I'm saying. You still leave a little bit of leeway. Now you have people that breed best to best. Best to best could be best to best within a line of dogs, or it could be best to best with let's say dogs that are not related, and that's where you get your scatterbred dogs. People tend to say scatterbred dogs throw low percentage dogs, like that dog is only gonna be as good as his career. Prime example, like if he's out there in the show ring, boom, he's a good show dog. He's only gonna be as good as his career is because he's probably not gonna throw those same consistent traits. Now, me on the other hand, I tend to say false. I tend to think some of your best bred show dogs are scatterbred. Like they're more so bred on like they're bred best to best, like conformation wise. I would say teeth wise, structure, like that's what plays a part in that. If you get what I'm saying, that's what plays that major part in that. Now, when you talk about an outcross is something that if you have a pure red boy dog, say you take it to a pure Sorrells dog or a pure Bolio dog, that would be your outcross. And you want your outcross to be just as good as the stock that you're working with. You don't want to go and get no mediocre outcross. Go out there, look for an out that you see it's working. Don't be afraid to add it to your program. Don't be afraid. If you feel like it's going to benefit you, don't be afraid to add it to your program. But at the same time, if you see it's not working, don't be scared to get rid of it. Like, just because you make this breeding and you get pups off of it, that doesn't necessarily mean you have to incorporate that into your program. But I'm not going to sit right here and talk y'all's head off, man. If y'all have any other questions, man, don't like, comment, subscribe, drop the questions below, or you get me my email at williamsonskennel.com, or just reach out, Facebook, Petey Backwood. I'm everywhere, man. I'm in most of the dog groups, man. If you have any questions, don't feel free, man. Don't hesitate to hit me up and ask questions, man. Like I say, I'm not the best person in the world. I'm not a master at breeding, but I do have a heap full of knowledge, man. I am knowledgeable about these dogs. So with that being said, man, I'm going to go ahead and leave it at that. I'm just going to make this short, brief, to the point. But it's Williamson's Kennels, man, and I'm out.